You know that feeling when you start to see life differently, but the people closest to you can't see it yet. When your spiritual awakening begins, your vision changes, but your family's version of you doesn't. You begin moving into higher consciousness, seeking inner peace and purpose, while they still see the old version of you, the one who fit inside their expectations. And that's when the misunderstanding begins. Spiritual awakening doesn't just open your eyes, it changes how you view everything. Relationships, values, priorities. You begin craving silence instead of noise, authenticity instead of approval. But to your family, it looks like you've become distant, strange, or even rebellious. They think you've changed, and they're right. But what they don't understand is that this change isn't rebellion, it's evolution. You're not turning away from them, you're turning toward your higher self. The truth is, families often operate from emotional history, not spiritual awareness. They see you through the lens of memory. Not who you are now, but who you used to be. When you start speaking differently, thinking differently, or reacting with calm instead of anger, it disrupts their familiar pattern. Suddenly your silence feels like defiance. Your boundaries feel like disrespect. Your independence feels like rejection. But what's really happening is awakening. You're shifting from reaction to reflection. When you awaken, you stop playing old emotional roles. Maybe you were the peacemaker, the overgiver, or the one who always said yes just to keep harmony. But spiritual awakening teaches you something powerful. Peace built on self-sacrifice isn't peace at all. It's performance. And when you stop performing, people notice. Some will appreciate your growth, others will resist it. Not because they hate you, but because your growth forces them to face their own stagnation. It's uncomfortable for them to see you detached from drama they still live in. They might say you've become too serious, too quiet, too deep. But you're not being distant. You're becoming aligned. You've learned that energy doesn't lie, that silence speaks, and that sometimes love means walking away before resentment builds. You start valuing peace over pleasing, and that's when misunderstanding turns into tension. Many spiritually awake people experience this. Family starts calling them cold or selfish because they no longer tolerate what drains them. But here's the truth. Self-awareness isn't selfishness. It's self-respect. When you begin healing, your vibration changes. You can't unsee the truth. You can't pretend that gossip, judgment, or chaos feels normal anymore. You crave honesty, purpose, simplicity. And because that frequency is new to you, it's unfamiliar to them. You're speaking a new language they haven't learned yet. Spiritual awakening teaches emotional intelligence, the ability to respond with calm instead of reacting from pain. But in families where emotions are always loud, that calmness gets misread as indifference. When you don't argue anymore, they think you've stopped caring. When you walk away instead of proving your point, they assume you've given up. But you haven't. You've simply learned that not every storm deserves your energy. You've discovered that silence can protect what words can't. Here's what many people don't realize. Awakening doesn't separate you from your family. It simply changes how you connect. You start seeing them as individuals with their own wounds, not villains trying to hurt you. You begin understanding that some people can only meet you at the level of their awareness. So instead of expecting deep understanding, you offer quiet compassion. You stop needing them to get it, because you know awakening is an individual path, not a group project. And still, it hurts sometimes. You'll sit at family gatherings feeling like an observer, like you're there but not really part of it. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. Arguments that used to consume you now just echo in the distance. You'll smile, you'll listen, but deep inside you'll feel a quiet knowing you've outgrown that frequency. That doesn't mean you love them less. It means you've stepped into a higher vibration where your energy no longer fits in old spaces. The hardest part of awakening is realizing that love doesn't always equal understanding. You can love your family deeply and still feel unseen. You can care for them, but not conform to their expectations. You can honor your roots without staying buried in them. Spiritually awake people don't walk away because they hate their families. They distance themselves to maintain peace, not to create conflict. And over time, that peace begins to speak louder than explanations ever could. When you operate from higher consciousness, you start seeing that every misunderstanding is actually an opportunity, a mirror showing you how much you've grown. You stop trying to change them, and you start focusing on embodying what you've learned. Your peace becomes your message, your calm becomes your boundary, And your presence, even when silent, starts to shift the energy around you. Some family members will eventually notice. They'll sense your calm, your balance, your lightness. They may never fully understand your awakening, but they'll feel your transformation, and that's enough. You weren't meant to convince them. You were meant to become an example of what healing looks like in real life. And here's the breakthrough. The moment you stop needing your family to validate your journey, you free yourself from emotional imprisonment. You start living from your truth without guilt. You understand that the purpose of awakening isn't to be understood. It's to be authentic. You stop chasing approval and start radiating presence. And slowly, without forcing anything, your peace begins to teach louder than your words ever could. If this connected with you, thank you for watching until the end. Like and subscribe, not out of habit but because something in you felt recognized. Keep walking your path. Keep trusting your growth, and remember, those who misunderstand your awakening today might one day call it wisdom.